Salesforce, all about AI, data, trust.
Salesforce recently hosted its flagship event, World Tour Essentials 2024 in Mumbai to explore the future of AI. Keynote sessions focused on transforming businesses into AI-driven enterprises by leveraging AI, data, and trust. Attendees engaged with Salesforce experts in the vibrant campground area, exploring customized solutions through live product demonstrations. This event offered valuable insights into the latest technology and showcased how Salesforce is helping enterprises harness these innovations to transform their businesses. In today's business environment, customer data fuels innovation. With advanced tools and high-quality data, AI enhances enterprise operations, boosting employee skills, productivity, profit margins, and customer relationships. Salesforce plays a crucial role by providing essential tools and expertise to harness AI effectively and drive transformative change.
I now have with me the lady of the hour, Arundhati Bhattacharya, CEO and Chairperson, Salesforce India. What a pleasure it is to speak to you. First of all, congratulations for this mega event. This is really something. Over 1,000 delegates. I see a lot of hustle bustle here. Let me start by asking you what have been the top achievements and, of course, your vision of Salesforce in India.
So the top achievements, I would say, is the fact that in the last, say, 6 years, half a dozen years, we have come from almost nowhere to becoming a company that is now recognized, across India. We are now sort of considered as a company that really and truly can create a great customer experience. But more than that, even internally within Salesforce, the awareness that India is a very important country to be in, that has definitely sunk in. And we were just about 2,200 people, and we are about, we have grown exponentially from there. So to that extent, if you ask me what's my achievement, well, I have brought India to the notice of Salesforce, and I've brought Salesforce to the notice of India. So I think that's the achievement.
Is there anything about India and the market that you find extremely unique? Of course, we have the youth demography, we have startups, but is there anything that comes to your mind which is drawing more and more attention to India?
If you look at the number of authentications that are done on the UIDAI platform, if you look at the number of our people that are using internet, if you look at the number of our people the mobile penetration in the country, just the sheer absolute numbers, they're mind-boggling. Okay, so that is what comes to mind when you talk about India. It's all about scale. How do you deliver scale at low costs? I think that's the challenge as well as the strength of India. And along with scale comes diversity. Okay, you cannot typify the Indian customer because the Indian customer in the north and the south are entirely different.
Yes.
Entirely different. Their holidays are different. Their peak periods are different. Their tastes are different. Their cultures are different. Their cuisines are different.
The weather's different.
Weather is different. You look at the four corners of India and you will find a whole world, So therefore, India can be a challenge. It can also be a huge opportunity. And we need to be able to unlock those challenges and come up to the opportunities, right? But where GenAI is concerned, I would say the Indian population being, I think, more than 60% of our population is below the age of 30. That's a huge advantage because the newer generations are wired for the AI tech piece. The adoption of technology in India, whether it be generative AI, whether it be anything else, is far easier than it is in many other countries which are growing older and where the adoption could be slower because it is difficult for older people to adapt to these new
Yes.
things, plus the fact that it's evolving so fast.
You have to keep up with it.
You have to keep up with it. It's a big challenge.
In AI, data is paramount. Models are ineffective without it. While consumer AI relies on public data, it doesn't meet enterprises' needs, especially in enhancing customer relationships. Enterprise AI, in contrast, prioritizes proprietary customer data. Generic data isn't sufficient for businesses. They require context-specific insights. Effective enterprise AI depends on personalized customer data to understand and meet unique preferences and behaviors effectively.
We want to be the world's most technologically advanced airline. And for that, we want to deploy all the best technologies across all our three important touch points, which is one is on the ground, which is all the check-in stations, for example, in the airport, the contact center. Then in the air, when you're traveling, we are being served by our cabin crew. And then finally in the digital space, right? So which is the website, mobile app, and all those digital channels. So all those touch points we want to transform using technologies, and Salesforce has been a very important component of this. So we have transformed all the touch points across all these three important categories. And for example, when you take a look at the website, we have a very modern website, which is considered the number one in terms of performance among all global major airlines. We have a beautiful mobile app, which is on a very important award called the Stevie Awards in Asia Pacific. We launched the world's first generative AI chatbot in the airline industry. And we have a great notification system and so on. And all of them are driven by customer data. And a lot of the customer data with respect to customer support is coming from Salesforce.
Let's now talk about strategy, innovation, analytics, and of course, mechanics of engineering. Joining me, Deepak Pargaonkar, VP Solution Engineering, Salesforce, India. Deepak, everybody is talking about how to get hold of Gen AI, how to get hold of AI. 86 to 87% of tech leaders always say that, AI output is just about what the input is. And your algorithms, your processes are heavily dependent on what you are feeding them. And therefore, data mining, as we say, and data reading becomes essential. And you need to have strategy where people are also aware of what data are they feeding versus plethora of data that is being fed. Do you see that as one of the challenges that companies face?
The most important thing for any AI is data. It's extremely important that the organization works on their data bit also, right, while they are thinking about AI. Why is this important? That the data is in multiple silos, right? And it's probably because of the evolution.
Yeah.
You probably have your transactional systems that you went with first, and then subsequently you developed the systems which were the need of the hour. And it created the data in various systems. But today, you need to leverage that data if you were to do AI in your organization. And the first and foremost, you need to bring all of that data together. And today, let me tell you, the data is not only about transactions or the profile information. Data is a lot. It's a structured data, it's unstructured data. Unstructured data could be emails of consumers. It could be my blog post. I am a consumer, it could be my blog post. It could be my social media posts. It could be images, it could be documents. So the data itself has become pretty massive.
Yeah.
And the organization needs to consider their data strategy. They need to have a strategy to get that all data together in what we call it as a proverbial single source of truth. And once they get all of that data, then working on top of that data to realize your vision on either Gen AI or predictive AI becomes fairly easy. But having that data strategy is extremely important. And that has always been our observations and also guidance to the organizations.
I think that is one of the most challenging bit where almost 86 to 87% of tech leaders always say that, AI output is just about what the input is.
Absolutely.
And you need to have strategy where people are also aware of what data are they feeding versus, plethora of data that is being fed. Do you see that as one of the challenges that companies face?
Are you going to use your data for only historical analysis? Or are you going to use your data for some real-time analysis and business decisions? Obviously, today, the value that the organizations get is thinking more real time, because that's where the business benefits come in. You really need to think about that real-time data analysis, the real-time actionable insights to be provided to the right stakeholders. Technologies, Salesforce-like company, we are providing with the capabilities like, say, Data Cloud, which allows the organizations to ensure that they create that single source of truth and have an ability to activate that data in real time.
Einstein 1, the heart of Salesforce AI enterprise platform, transforms how businesses utilize AI for success. Integrated with Data Cloud, it combines Salesforce's clouds, apps, AI capabilities, and customer data into a cohesive platform, delivering unmatched insights and efficiencies. Through Salesforce Customer 360, Einstein 1 provides a comprehensive view of customer interactions, enabling deep insights into behaviors and preferences across all touchpoints. This integration empowers enterprises to make informed decisions, personalize customer experiences, and foster growth and loyalty in a competitive market environment.
I now have the pleasure of an audience with Mr. Sanket Atal. He is the MD, Site Operations and Technology at Salesforce India. You know, you're always chasing technology, and by the time you adapt to the tech, something new comes up. So from that point of view, when you talk about speed and innovation, where does it stand in this journey?
What we are trying to do as a company is to provide you access to the latest in AI technologies, whether it's predictive or generative, in the context of stuff you do on a day-to-day basis. So you don't need to be an AI expert. As long as you understand business, you understand how to use our products, you'll be able to leverage AI. And as an advice to somebody who's looking at getting into AI, take a look at platforms, take a look at what you can develop upon and build on that. Don't go for the hype, go for the practicality, because ultimately the only way you can succeed is by putting customer at the center of the universe. And the way you do it is focusing on the customer, leveraging technology as a tool, rather than focusing on the technology and focusing on the buzzwords.
Where do you see AI in India? What is the future, so to say? What are some of the classic challenges that you see that may come and opportunities?
The future is just remarkable. You know, I've been so impressed with what we have done as a country. The entire digitization movement has been amazing. Whenever I go to the US, I talk to people about how I haven't carried cash in forever. So we are leapfrogging the rest of the world in the entire tech journey, and it's just remarkable. And likewise with AI, you see, as a culture, we are very entrepreneurial. And we are, you know, to use another term which is often decried, but I think it's very powerful, is very, very jugaadi. In that we take a look at the technology and see how best it fits what we're trying to do. And AI is right there. Now, the other part of it is there's a big hue and cry about what happens when you have AI taking over the world, when you have chatbots who are able to do various things. It's not going to get rid of jobs. It's going to optimize what you do. It's going to increase the ability to serve the customers. Fundamentally, it's going to improve efficiency, right? A big use case, for example, is you're trying to create a marketing campaign. Earlier, it used to take maybe 1 or 2 days to figure things, fundamentals out, another day to draft it, and then to launch it. Using AI, you can do it in a matter of minutes. That's improvement in your efficiency, an improvement in how you serve your customers and grow your business. And I think Indians will truly embrace it and do absolutely amazing things with it. We've already seen many examples today with customers talking about how they're planning to leverage AI. I've met so many consulting companies, small and big, who are coming up with use cases for their customers or on their own to be provided to the customers that I'm just blown away. I think India is going to be at the forefront of the AI revolution.
Salesforce, all about AI, data, trust.
Salesforce leads in promoting trustworthy AI amid rising business interest, addressing privacy, accuracy, and safety concerns. Serving 90% of Fortune 100 companies, Salesforce emphasizes trust as pivotal for AI adoption. Over nearly a decade, Salesforce Office of Ethical and Humane Use has set industry standards with guidelines for responsible AI and policies like the AI Acceptable Use Policy. The Einstein Trust layer ensures transparency and human oversight in AI systems, empowering users to navigate complexities confidently. Recent research highlights significant trust barriers, with 52% of Indian workers distrusting AI training data and 82% emphasizing secure data for AI trust. Salesforce continues to pioneer ethical AI, bridging technological advancement with responsibility to foster trustworthy and inclusive AI innovation.
Healthcare is the most personalized that you can get as an industry, right? And the data that we are talking about is about your health. So it's extremely, extremely important. To an extent, you might let go what is your car's data, how it is performing. But when it comes to healthcare, data protection becomes the most important factor, because you are treating somebody's illness and you're trying to keep them healthy. Thus, organizations like us take it very, very seriously.
I now have the pleasure of company of Mr. Arun Parameswaran, MD Sales, Salesforce India. We do see a trust gap, and that is also led by a lot of data insecurity. We are also seeing collateral damages as we are in the first phase. You know, it's so new. Where do you see the trust gap being bridged?
One of the reasons we took our time as far as our AI initiatives were concerned in terms of what we brought to market is because we wanted to build the trust layer first. While everybody was jumping feet first, bear in mind, we've had an AI research group in place for long before generative AI even became a fad in the horizon, right? In fact, we started predictive AI back in 2014. Today, we do about 2 trillion predictive AI predictions or predictions based on our Einstein predictive AI every day, okay? So AI is not new to Salesforce. Generative AI was not new to Salesforce when it became this big fad with ChatGPT.
Correct.
But we knew that the world of consumer AI, the world of B2B AI are very different. And that's the conversation you're having over lunch with a whole bunch of CXOs saying, you know, it's one thing to write a poem, right, on ChatGPT. Now, if you're trying to tell an underwriter, I'm going to use generative AI to make complicated credit decisions on whether or not to give a loan, that's a completely different world, because now I'm going and accessing a customer's credit information from a bureau like CIBIL, right? I am looking at account aggregator framework to go and fetch his bank statements and look through all of his bank balances. And then I'm using my own, model to say, if score is equal to so much and bank balance is yes, then I can give this person Y amount of loan, right? Now, to do that in any form of AI versus writing a poem is a different world altogether, right? So I think our focus over the last 2 years, while we were furiously innovating on our platforms to bring that together, our first order of work was to make sure we put the trust layer, right? And so if you think about it today, we've done a number of things that gives customers, that peace of mind, right? And I say this because if you take probably my largest customers, right, and you speak to the highest stakeholder, which is the chairman, CEO, they will tell you that they go to sleep at night knowing Salesforce works for them. Their business is run on us, right? That's the level of trust we built over many years. And so we don't give that away that easily. And so when we built the trust layer, we said, how do we make sure that the data that we have to use, right, is handled appropriately? Are we masking the data? Are we encrypting the data? The language models that we use, how do we bring that into our trust boundary? What models do we use? Do we use our models? Do we use, open models like OpenAI? Do we use customer models, right? But once you're done with all of that, all these models are going to give you a response. Now, half your problem is, after the response, you got to think about how much of that is hallucination. Is that within an acceptable limit, right? What is the bias? Because you can imagine in a country like India, you could very quickly degenerate into something that none of us want, right? How are you going to make sure that toxicity is handled? And only after you've gone through every one of these filters, do you then look at the response and say where we are. And I had a very interesting comment by a customer. He said, look, we can't look at these as pilots as a one-time thing and abandon and walk away, because chances are it won't be successful at the first shot. We've got to keep going at this because we know it's going to be productive. We know it's going to be efficient. We know it's going to bring top line, bottom line.
Yeah.
We just got to stay invested, which is a very different, but again, these are customers with deep pockets who are willing to make investments over long periods of time.
AI is set to transform enterprises by improving profitability and customer relationships. According to Salesforce's Your Data, Your AI report, 94% of India's C-suite leaders see trust in AI as crucial for revenue growth. This highlights the strategic importance of fostering trust in AI systems. Salesforce remains at the forefront of guiding businesses in AI adoption, emphasizing ethical practices and transparency to maximize benefits and drive innovation while building customer confidence.
The landscape is changing, right? Now, who do we cater to? It's from a 6-year-old or even a 5-year-old these days, all the way to 90 or 95, right? So their consumption behavior has changed. So obviously, we need to make sure to keep pace with their behavior from a, let's say, a 3-hour format to a 3-minute or even 30 seconds clip, right? So obviously, this whole evolution has to be based on technology, and obviously, in our entire sales process of how we take this content reach to the end mile of any of these spectrum of people that I've been talking about. Yes, we do have the technology as a base, and Salesforce has been a good platform for us in our entire sales value chain.
Well, now I have the pleasure of meeting Leandro Perez, Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer, APAC Salesforce. Especially in India, where do you see, I never talk about 5 years, where do you see the next 2 years in terms of enterprise AI making leaps and bounds?
What's interesting about the technology that we have at Salesforce is that the small company has access to the same technology that the big companies have, right? We have Salesforce Starter, which is a very simple offering, allowing anyone to get started and have customer service and sales all together, and soon marketing as well. And so that's the same technology that the biggest companies have, like an Air India, right? So I think the opportunity to do things like personalization, to move quickly with a small team is the large opportunity. I think for the bigger end of town, if they can truly become an AI enterprise, it means that they can have this full-on personalized customer experience at scale and be able to do it and compete globally like no other organization. And I think the ones that are moving quickly are the ones that are getting the first mover advantage. And then the corollary of that is that the consumer is also going to be using AI. So think of a world now where you're a company that isn't using AI, but your consumer is personally, to help them with their life. So just imagine this, if, when I want to reach out to a company, my AI talks to the company instead of me. And so I think it's important that companies take advantage, move now while there's still time, because consumers are going to be moving there because it makes their life easier.
Do we need to have local regulations, or do you think we need more international regulations in place?
If I take a personal opinion here, I think Europe always is kind of leading the way in areas like this because they're very concerned about how data will be used. They've led the way with GDPR and other examples. So I'd say they're doing an early good job, but I don't think anyone has this solved yet. And it's important that businesses are part of that story. So my recommendation there would be is if you're a large organization, come together with, and help shape the way there. Don't wait to be regulated. And that means that you've also got to have experience, and you need to be participating with internally and with your consumers as well.
As AI and data reshape industries, Salesforce leads with ethical AI practices and trust-building initiatives. Focused on transparency and innovation, Salesforce empowers businesses and fosters lasting customer relationships. Setting industry standards in responsible data use and reliable AI, Salesforce guides businesses towards a future where technology drives growth with integrity.
Salesforce, all about AI, data, trust.